Dear viewers, welcome to the new series of videos which is design tools that is used in Lean Six Sigma methodology. As part of this series, the first video that we are going to upload is on QFD, Quality Function Deployment, otherwise called House of Quality. And you all know why we call it House of Quality, because the template that we use to do this QFD resembles a picture of a house, hence we call it House of Quality. In this video, I am planning to explain it in three parts. As first part, I would like to give the introduction for QFD, and in my second part, I would like to give an example of how the QFD can be done in a product industry, and as my third part, I would like to give the example of how QFD is done in a service industry. Let's get into this video. As I was explaining, QFD is a tool which is used in the design projects. Generally, we have two terminologies or two methodologies in our Lean Six Sigma, which is DMAIC, that is define, measure, analyze, improve, and control, which is a problem solving framework for an existing process. And we also have another framework which is DMADV, which is define your objective, measure data points with respect to your objective, analyze and come up with insights, use those insights to come up with new design. The second D of DMAD stands for design, and finally verify whether the design has given you the expected results. So this is a DMADV project framework. So this tool, House of Quality, is generally a tool which is used in the design stage of a DMADV project, or it is also used during the define stage of a DMADV project, or it is also used in the improve stage of a DMAIC project. So it is used in all these stages, and the simple explanation of what is called an House of Quality or what is called QFD is, House of Quality or QFD converts customer requirements from a product or a service into technical aspects or technical requirements, which will further be considered as important design requirements, so that the design team can focus on those technical requirements, which is going to have a very high impact on your customer requirement. So in simple words, QFD is converting customer requirement into technical requirements with certain target values, which can be further considered as important design requirements by the design team while designing a product or a service. So this is the definition of the tool. So what I am going to explain in this video is how to do a QFD. Basically, what are these templates all about, what each section talks about, and how do we fill this as a generic example I will give you. But subsequently, I will give you a proper QFD done for a product industry and a proper QFD done for a service industry. The very first information that we need to fill in any QFD is what your customer want. So what do we mean by what my customer want? What do you want from a particular product or a service? So if you go to the potential users of a product or a service, for example, if I have a training company where I provide Lean Six Sigma certification, then I have to go to my potential customers. That means people who are looking for Lean Six Sigma certification, and ask them, what is the expectation of a Lean Six Sigma certification program as far as you are concerned? Then some of them would say, I want the training program to be conducted with lot of practical examples. Someone else would say, I want the training program to give me a certificate which is globally recognized. Someone else will say, I want the training program to be a combination of classroom sessions, then some time for me to go back, implement it in my shop floor. Again, the session happens. So it is kind of the schedule of the training should be theory, time for reflect on theory, then theory. And someone else would say, I want the training program to give me training material, training aid, and other takeaways from the training. Other than the knowledge getting imparted, I want other takeaways which would be useful for me, like templates, project templates. So the requirement list can be different. People can have different view about what you want, and that need to be filled in this first column, which says what. The what section covers customer requirement. And once you have this what section covered, then you need to fill something called importance rating. The second thing, generally the second thing that we will fill in any house of quality is importance rating. As we all discussing, let's say in a product industry, I want a mobile phone. What do you want from a mobile phone? I want the mobile phone where I can make and receive calls better. So my first requirement would say good call quality. My second requirement would say a very high resolution camera. My third requirement would say lot of storage space. So do you think all this will have equal importance? No. Customer will have few things with very high importance and customer will have few things with relatively lower importance. So importance rating is always filled in a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 being the highest and 1 being the least. So you can have a questionnaire, a multi-voting system with your potential customers and ask them what do you want, and in a scale of 1 to 5 how would you like to rate it. So this section of what customer want and the importance rating, both of these will be gathered from the customer and will be updated. So this is from the customer. Now once you have done this part, the third section that we are going to fill is how, which is called technical requirement. Now in this how section, you will have items which will get listed in this area. So these are technical requirements of the product or a service. If I want to continue with your mobile phone example, I want to make good quality calls and I want to receive calls properly, I want to listen properly, the audio should be clear, then the mic and the speaker in your mobile phone plays a very important role in this. I want a faster mobile phone, then the processor, maybe along with processor RAM, maybe along with RAM your clock speed, what is the clock speed that you have, plays a very important role. So you can have these three things. And I want high storage, so I would like to have hard disk, or in a mobile phone we call it the memory, right, the storage space, right. So that would be the technical requirement. I want my camera to be high resolution, then the kind of lens you use in your camera. And if you want to have a high resolution camera, you should also have a better RAM, better graphic card. So what are all the technical requirements in your product or service which is going to make you deliver these customer requirement will get documented here. So this is the third section that we fill. The fourth section that we filled is improvement direction, because we all know generally metrics are broadly classified into higher the better. For example, storage space in a mobile phone is higher the better. Weight of a mobile phone is lower the better. Radiation level in a mobile phone is lower the better, right? And there are certain metrics like optimal the better. Optimal the better is neither slower nor higher, it need to be maintained at certain level. For example, size of your screen, size of your screen is optimal the better. If it's become very big, it's too difficult to carry. If it becomes very slow also, it does not solve your purpose. So the size of your mobile phone should be optimal the better, right? Sometimes you can also have nominal. Nominal is you don't have any direction, but there are A, B, C, D available. For example, you want to go for what kind of operating system in your phone. So let's say there is two operating systems. There is no concept of higher the better or lower the better. You can use either one of them. You can use an Android or you can use a iOS. So that could be the operating system, where I will not say higher the better, lower the better, but I would say nominal the better. Then what I'll do, I'll fill this column with nominal the better. So that is the fourth column that I filled in a house of quality. The fifth thing is what we call it as the most important section, which is called interaction matrix. So the one which I have highlighted now, this is your interaction matrix. So what do I fill in interaction matrix? In interaction matrix, I want to ask a question myself. So the first technical requirement, how is it impacting my customer requirements one by one? For example, if I feel the technical requirement like the processor in my phone, what role it has to do with my mobile phone being fast, very high. If it's very high, I can give a 9. If I think it is moderate, I can give a 3. And if I think it is low, I can give a 1. And if I think there is no impact at all, I can leave that particular column blank. So what happens is I can give a interaction rating of technical requirement against the customer requirement. So processor has anything to do with my phone being fast? Definitely yes, so I give 9. Does processor has anything to do with my phone being stylish? No, because processor does not have any role to play in your phone look stylish or the aesthetics of your phone look good. So I will leave that column blank. If aesthetic is my fifth requirement, I will leave that column blank, right? So by that way, what I do, I ask a question myself: how does this technical requirement impact my customer requirement? Does it have a high impact, moderate, low, or no impact at all? As I told, high impact will be 9, moderate will be 3, low will be 1, and no impact at all. The cell can be left blank. I fill this particular column considering the interaction of how and what. So this part is done. Now I move on to competitor analysis. Okay, before I move to competitor analysis, we can also do something called the roof. The matrix that you see here is the correlation among your technical requirements. What do we mean by correlation among the technical requirement? If I decided to use a particular processor and if I decided to use a particular clock speed, then does processor, that means if you see this particular column, right? So let me explain you how does it work. If I want to know the relationship between processor and if I want to know the relationship between battery technology, then I have to fill in a value in this particular cell. Why do I fill it in this particular cell? Because this is the interaction. This cell is the interaction of, or this cell is the correlation of the processor and battery technology. This is how we need to understand this particular roof. So in this roof, what we will do is we will ask ourselves a question that how does these two technical requirements correlate among themselves. So this box here that you see, this cell is an interaction of your second parameter and the second from last, this parameter. So like that we will take each of the technical requirement and see what is the correlation. And I hope you all understand correlation is if this increases, this also increases, is what we call it as positive correlation. If this increases, this reduces. If I want to give you a very simple example, if my processor capability increases, the battery life, when I say battery life, there are two ways of defining it: how long your battery works, or for one recharge how many hours you can use your battery. So both are battery life. In the second option, if my processor is going to be a better processor, then obviously my phone battery is expected to get discharged very quickly because it get used that often, right? So from that perspective, we will fill this roof depending upon how your technical requirement 1 is going to impact the other technical requirements. If you are going to have a very high strong positive correlation, you put a double plus. If there is a very strong negative correlation, you put a double minus. And if there is only a positive correlation but not very strong, you put a single plus. If there is only going to be a negative correlation but not very strong, you put a single minus. And if you think there is no correlation at all, you will leave that particular cell blank. So that is how the roof is getting filled. Now we will come to the competitor analysis. In competitor analysis, if at all I have a previous version of my own product, for example, I already have a mobile phone and I am trying to come up with a new model, then what I can do is my current mobile phone model, what is the customer rating on all these individual requirements? How fast my phone works, what is my phone size, and based on that, what is my customer requirement? So customer requirement, my current product in a scale of 1 to 5, my immediate competitor A, competitor B, and what they score on each of these requirement. So for this, I need to do a market research. I need to conduct a survey and understand how the market is rating my product and my competitor product on these customer requirements. And from this I can take a target value which will say if I come up with a new brand or if I come up with a new model, the new model should score 5 out of 5 in requirement 1. It should score 4 out of 5 in second requirement. Like that I can take a target value. So this is the competitor analysis. Now we will come to the basement, the floor, very important section. So in the basement, the very first row item talks about importance weighting. What is importance weighting? Importance weighting is basically to convert the technical requirements and customer requirement into an index. And what is that index? That index is a sum product of technical requirement and the customer requirement. For example, technical requirement 1 have a high interaction, or it has a very high impact on my requirement 1. That's why I have given a 9. And in importance rating, my requirement 1 itself scores 5 out of 5. So this importance weightage is basically a sum product, 5 into 9 plus 4 into 3 plus 3 into 3 plus 5 into 1 plus 4 into 0. A cell which is left blank is equivalent to 0. So 4 into 0. So if I multiply each of this and then add it, I am getting 71. The direct Excel function to achieve this is using sum product, select your first array and then select your second array. So you get the sum product value. I have repeated the same sum product value for all these technical requirements and customer requirement. By that way, I have got individual importance weighting. And what I have done is I have summed up everything and it is 384. Sum of all these individual columns is 384. And now what I calculate is relative importance weightage. So relative importance weightage is calculated by dividing 71 with 384. So if you see here, 71 divided by 384. 71 is my individual importance weightage. 384 is my total importance weightage. So my relative importance weightage is 71 divided by 384. And why do we do that? We do this to find, or we do this to understand which of the technical requirement have a highest weightage. If I understand technical requirement 1 have 18.5 followed by the technical requirement 6 or technical requirement at the end, right? So just to make you understand this better, technical requirement 7 have 15.8. So in my design priorities, I have to focus on technical requirement 1 because it has the highest relative importance weightage, followed by technical requirement 7. Then comes your technical requirement 2, 3 and 4 because they have equally, or maybe they have 14.8, then 14.1 and 14.1. So this is how I calculate my importance weightage and relative importance weightage. Now coming to the end, or coming to the last few columns, this column talks about how do you measure this particular requirement. For example, if it is a dimension, I measure it in millimeters. If it is pressure, I measure it in PSI. If it is tensile strength, I measure it in PSI. Then again dimension, vibration, millimeter per second, amps, resistance, mu. So these are all different units. Alpha, these are all different units in which each of these technical requirements are getting measured. And once I fill this unit, then I write down if I have a current model already available and I am planning to do a version 2 of it, how does my current model score, or what is the value that I am managing in my current model will come here as my current value. And if I can do some reverse engineering of my competitor products, if I can gather some information from my competitor product, I'll be able to mention what is my competitor values in each of these technical requirements. And once I fill these competitor values, then I'll be able to take a design target value. So this design target value is what my design team need to focus on each of these technical requirements and try to come up with a design where these targets can be achieved. And if these targets can be achieved, then these customer requirements can be achieved. That is the logic of converting customer requirements into technical requirements with their appropriate target. And depending upon the improvement direction, for example, if this metric is higher the better, then it will have a one-sided tolerance. I should have at least 2 mm with a lower specification limit of 1.98 mm, right? If it is optimal, then it will say it is 3 mm plus or minus 0.1m. Depending upon what is the direction of improvement, these target values will then be converted into specification limits, and using those specification limits, the design team will focus to develop a new product or a service which takes care of these technical requirements for all the 7 important technical parameters, and thereby the new design will be able to deliver the 5 important customer requirements. Friends, I hope you understood this QFD. There are multiple versions of this templates available with few more columns getting added or some of these columns not being available. But what you see here is the fundamental basic template. So with certain requirements, people come up with a revised version of their QFD template. But this is something basic, standard. Depending upon requirement, there are few columns getting added, columns getting removed. But this is the basic requirement of a QFD template. I hope this video was useful for you to understand the template. Here I have given the broad names like requirements, technical requirements, customer requirement. In my subsequent video, as I told, I am going to explain you about how to prepare a QFD for an electric scooter for a product industry, and I'm also going to do a QFD how to come up with a new mutual fund house. If I am a bank or an investment company, how to come up with a mutual fund house. So these are 2 examples that I'm planning to upload as my subsequent videos. If this video was useful, please like, and if you have some observations, some feedback, I would kindly request you to share your observations and feedbacks in the comment section. And for more videos on Lean Six Sigma tools and techniques, quality improvement videos, Minitab related videos, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for your time. See you in another video. Thank you.